Hey guys, so quick video. Two things. Number one, I need a haircut, so don't even try saying anything about it. And number two, going to NRA convention in a few weeks, make sure you say something about it. I got a couple things here we're going to talk about. Mastol liquid adhesive, some Steri-Strips, and Dermabond in two applicators. One's a pen style applicator, it's kind of neat. And the other, oh, I dropped it, is a small vial, similar to the Mastol. It's essentially a little crush vial, and then there's a little bit of gauze there, and you use that to dab on. First thing I'm going to say, Dermabond is not super glue. People talk about it being super glue. So, quick thing. So it is, it isn't. Number one, yes, it is super glue. B, no, it's not super glue. It's super glue base. They add a colorant, so you can actually see it. It's purple right there. I don't know if it looks blue or purple on the screen. And it also has a secondary product in there that waters it out, so it does not dry instantly. If you ever actually use super glue, it bonds instantaneously and you can't do anything. Your fingers rip apart. Dermabond is a little more forgiving. You can apply it, move it around, you can put it, squeeze it onto a Q-tip, and it's more forgiving. The idea is same with the pen applicator, it's just a different way to apply it. You can apply it to a wound and then play with the wound and hold it together, move it around to approximate or bring it together, and then it'll hold. You then put a second layer on top of it to protect it. You can use super glue. You can use super glue on minor cuts. The big difference in that is you would use Steri-Strips, butterfly sutures, whatever, and Mastol. Mastol is a liquid adhesive. It's not meant to be a skin glue like Dermabond, and this is used around a wound but not in or in contact to a wound. Dermabond, again, proprietary, a little more forgiving if you actually get it into the wound. It's sterilized and meant to be inert once it closes up. The Mastol is, you can clean it off with alcohol, little alcohol swabbies. The Dermabond is a little more resistant. You don't want to soak them, the edges will peel. So there you go. The difference here, glue versus Steri-Strips versus actual stitches or staples, is the size of the wound. I wish I would have a draw board. I don't have one in the room. But essentially, if you think of a wound in 3 layers, there's the top layer, and you cut it, and it's open. Band-Aid works fine. You just close it up. It's a little bit deeper to that second layer. Dermabond will hold it closed, or Steri-Strips will hold it closed. The problem is if a cut is too deep, and you close it up at the top, you'll have a gap down at the bottom. So you'll be squishing it closed, but it's still open down here in the lower levels. This is my animation. This is how it works. And so you can get an abscess, or it won't heal properly, or you'll have drainage, or you'll have drainage that won't get out. And so that's the difference. If you ever have a wound or a cut and you can see yellow adipose or fat tissue, that needs stitches. You can't Dermabond or glue or staple. Well, you can't staple it, but it needs stitches. It needs a little bit more deep care. Dermabond's really good stuff. It should be in most of your kits. 1 or 2 of these small vials are really nice. They sell them over the counter. You can buy liquid skin glue, which is the same as Dermabond. It's just not a brand name from Walgreens or whatever your proprietary seller is. The Mastol and the Steri-Strips are good. You don't need Mastol for Steri-Strips. They'll work by themselves. There's ways to do Steri-Strip style binding with Band-Aids and duct tape and stuff. It's a little more advanced. But the info's out there. I can do videos if you really care to see stuff like that. But Dermabond is not super glue, but it kind of is. And you can use super glue, but you really shouldn't because it's not as forgiving. You're going to probably mess up the wound a lot more. You won't be able to hold it closed and not get your fingers stuck and pull them off. That's why I always support Dermabond. Always wear gloves when you do it. Unless you know what you're doing and you're good at it, then do whatever the hell you want to do. Again, these are all my own personal views and opinions. I don't claim to be an expert in anything. The one last thing I will say is if you use Dermabond or all that stuff, you can't use Neosporin. And just as a side note, Neosporin, about 80% of people, I think, are allergic to it because it's a triple antibiotic ointment. People can have allergic reactions. I'm a big supporter of Bactrim, unless you have a direct allergy to that. And you should never be using any antibiotic ointments or creams 2-3 days after the initial injury, or it will inhibit or prevent it from healing properly. You want your skin to naturally heal and scab. You use Neosporin or antibiotic ointments 1-2 days after the injury, and then just keep it clean and dry, as I always advocate. Clean and dry for wounds is never wrong, except in some places, but you don't need to worry about that. For most of them, it'll be fine. And then Aquifer and Nivea and all those skin creams after it's healed to reduce scarring, never while the healing is occurring. You don't want to occlude pores or something. That's it. So, another little video. Got a bunch of toys back here we can play with and talk about, so let me know if you want to see another video or something. But that's all I got. Watch for videos in the next coming week, and maybe you may not have a haircut by then. Probably not. Just use pomade.